Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's begin my presentation by taking a look back in time, back to an age where trains and automobiles looked like this. Back to 1903, when people used to look around and look forward, left, right, back, down for innovation. This was the year that two brothers in Kitty Hawk made a discovery and invented something. They made the first plane, and when it flew, people began to question, how far can we go? How high can we reach? This shifted the viewpoint of every citizen and questioned how far we can go. Fast forward, it's the end of World War II. The Soviet Union and the United States helped defeat the Germans. This, after the war, caused a little bit of conflict because of the disagreements and arguments on how countries should be run and what's the correct ideology that countries should have. A part of this conflict was a little challenge called the space race. Now, before that, many people didn't really even envision going outside of our source, like outside of our planet, outside of the atmosphere. They only thought about planes and that sort of thing. However, the Russians launched a satellite called Sputnik, the first blow in the space race. America was caught off guard. They really didn't have a space program. In fact, they had a program called NACA, which only focused on aeronautics and all that sort of thing, while NASA focused on that as well as space. They had to change the way their government was structured to try and catch up to the Russians. They had the first man in space, the first satellite in space, first woman in space, first dog, first in nearly everything actually. But the US continued to fund NASA. In fact, this is a graph that shows the funding of NASA throughout the years. As you can see, it started at very low because that's when it began, and it reached an all-time high right here. This was the famous moment when we first walked on the moon. Through the competition that the US and the USSR had, the government strived to push it. People began to look upward and say, hey, we gotta get there first. They changed the view from focusing on Earth and into space. However, after this, the competition died down. The space race was over. The US won. And funding went down again. So, did that mean we gave up on the space industry? No. We continued to try and innovate, try and make new discoveries, because people still wanted to know what's up there, but they didn't need to focus on it like we did against the Soviet Union. Fast forward some more, there was a tragedy in US history when the US tried to launch a shuttle called the Challenger. With news crews around, children huddling around TVs, families just watching this supposedly historic event when we watched another space shuttle. And when it exploded, people felt bad. It was terrible. They were distraught over what the program might be. However, funding didn't go down. People still supported the program because of hope. They hoped that because of this loss and because of the trials and difficulties they're going through, that maybe they could innovate, maybe they could find something else, maybe this all wasn't for naught. So because of that, funding continued, though still at that lower level, for years, up until the modern age, in fact. However, looking towards the future, there may be some more competition yet. NASA is planning to try and visit Mars by 2030 and try and land on an asteroid by 2025. However, now they have some more competition. With an industry of SpaceX and Planetary Resources competing with them in these fields. SpaceX is trying to get to Mars by 2024, 6 years before NASA, and Planetary Resources is trying to get on an asteroid and harvest it for minerals by the early 2020s, again before NASA. With this competition and this expansion of the market, maybe more views in the future will be shifted upward. Maybe we will change our ideology even more to try and envision what was possible with what we can do and try and make even more discoveries we already have made. Thank you. Is it still? Oh.
Yeah.